Great day, Grand Rising. Good afternoon or evening, whatever time of day it is you're watching me. Welcome to another Revolution Sunday with it, Dr. A.G. Green, Senior Revolution Sundays. You know what to do. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share, share and tag. I'm so excited and delighted, honored and privileged to be with you here on this particular day. And I hope that you as well are grateful for life and being. Almighty, we just bless you. We thank you for this opportunity that you've granted us to convene and assemble ourselves together. We have open hearts to receive what the Almighty is saying to us on today. We thank you for the necessities of life and even the luxuries. Thank you for always being with us and never leaving us. Thank you for always loving us. I pronounce from the inside out of those who view me today that this is a day of fulfillment, a day of joy, and a day of peace. And I give you glory. In Yeshua's name, way, nature, and consciousness, it is so, and so it is. How are you today? How is everyone? Tag and share, share and tag. 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 Love all of you on today. I won't be on as long. I'm a little late signing on purposely. Yes, sir. Grand Rising to my niece Hillary on YouTube and to Pastor Turk on Facebook and others who are coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking our time, as the English folk would say, in your busy schedules and logging in. A couple of things I'm going to share with you. Grand Rising to you as well. Pastor Jerry Cotton, who's on YouTube. Others are continuing to flow in. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share, share and tag. I always like to encourage and remind you that you can do all things through the Jesus Christos, the anointed one, not the figurative Christ, not the false Christ, but the real one that has a mind of consciousness that dwells in us all. You can and you will overcome all obstacles in all situations, in all circumstances. I want you to type it in the comment section, I can. Come on, type in the comment section, I can. This is the place to come if you're challenged with that, because I'm going to empower you every time to know that I can. Yes, I can. I can overcome I can endure. I can master. I can ascend. I can have happiness. I can have peace. I can have joy. I can have satisfaction. I can. Come on, type it in the comment section. That's it. I can. You're owning it today. When you type it, you're owning it. When you type it, you give your mind permission to find solutions for you. You give your spirit permission to know that there is greater power that works in you, as a part of you. I can. Last but not least, I always like to remind people that you are the offspring of an almighty creator. That doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you powerful. It makes powerless, excuse me. It makes you powerful. So I want you to type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Speak it out loud. I feel that every time I say it. I am powerful. As I always like to tell you, you're great with permission from the Almighty. I'm going to say it again. You're great with permission from God. I am powerful. Not by might nor by power, but by his spirit. His spirit. By his spirit, we are powerful. By our connection with him, we are powerful. By our divine design, I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. I know you might be facing difficult situations, but I am powerful. I know you might be dealing with some situations and circumstances, but I am powerful. I know your finances may not look the way you desire for them to look in the present moment, but I am powerful. I get to declare and decree and declare and call those things that be not as though they were. I am powerful. That's it. Own the power, accept the power, live the power, be the power. And again, I am so excited to be with you here on this particular day. How are you today? Talk back to me. How are you today? How is your day going thus far? I know we've got people in different time zones checking in, but how is your day going? How is your day going thus far? Talk back to me. How is your day going thus far? I would like to know how things are going with you and how things are going on your behalf on this particular day. How are you today? And let's see who's going to respond here. How's everybody? You know what's next. We're going to discuss what's in our cup today. But talk back to me. How are you quickly? How you feeling? How you feeling in this moment and in this hour? For some, you're on the West Coast, so, you know, it's earlier. Pastor Turk say doing okay. Nothing hurts. I love that. I love that. Listen, it's a blessing when you can get up and nothing is hurting. This here on YouTube, Pastor Cott said, peaceful and powerful. Peaceful and powerful. Peaceful and powerful. Awesomeness. Awesomeness. What's in my cup today is a Colombian roast coffee with hazelnut creamer. That's what's in my cup today. I needed a pick me up in my cup today. Awesomeness. Awesomeness. What's in your cup? So what's in your cup today? Talk back to me. Pastor Turk already told us he's got water in his cup. He's got water in his cup on today. Anybody else want to share what's in your cup? Remember, there's no judgment. It doesn't really matter what's in your cup. I just like to know what folk are sipping on when they're watching me. Let's see here. Pastor Cotton says what's in his cup. He said he wish it was tea. He go fix some. Awesome. And he's doing peaceful and powerful. Wonderful. Angela, Miss London is checking in and let us know pretty well. Such a blessing today. And yet, indeed, it is a blessing. Let's see on YouTube. Hillary says, water's in my cup. She wish it was tea as well. Oh, that was her who said who's going to fix up. She was going to fix it. Can you still hear me? I don't know why my sound. Seems like my sound is left. Check this out here. Make sure the audio is still good. Testing 1, 2. Can you still hear me and see me? Let me know if you can still hear me. This Pastor Cotton actually has lemon water and apple cider vinegar in his cup today. Loud and clear. Okay, I don't know why. But for some reason, I can't hear myself in the speaker like I used to. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Appreciate all of you. Sound is great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're going to, let me see here. I'm going to navigate this. I've got information on my tablet that I was going to talk from. I might have to open my phone up until the tablet is charged. I typically, of course, have it charged in advance. And today, yesterday, this whole week has been a pretty interesting week. And I need to, got a little bit behind on some things. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone, my notes. I'm glad everybody is doing well on this particular morning. Got a couple of things I'm going to share with you. And then I'm going to, here we go. Pull it up on my phone. Here we go, right here. Wonderful, wonderful. I want to share with you here on today. Let's see. Before I move forward, drop a quick announcement. I don't typically, you all know, you're my family, my online family. For 1 year, whole solid year, the only people I talked to were you. And I turned down several engagements to speak in mainly churches, different places. Moment of reflection, reassessment, metamorphosis, ascension, evolution, all those things taking place. This year, I've decided to take a few, and it's my brother. And so I said yes to his call. I don't know how many more times I'll say yes to people. I'm shifting into different places and spaces, but I'll be speaking for him this afternoon. They have what's called a pastoral anniversary. This is where you celebrate pastors. I had one. Well, I was a pastor for 25 plus years. It's a good day, a day that you honor leadership, the pastor and wife. So I'll be speaking for him this afternoon. What I'll do is I'll put the link up on this page, the A.G. Green Now page, and potentially my personal page as well. I want y'all to log in and connect. You kind of get to see me in a different environment, flowing in a different dimension in that particular kind of atmosphere. So I want you to make sure that you tune in if you can. You have nothing to do this afternoon and you want to be spiritually energized, so forth and so on. I will be there. I always appreciate your love and your support. But yes, this is quite an interesting season for me, and I'm so grateful for it. We've been in Philippians 4 and 8. We've been in Philippians 4 and 8. I want you to go there with me. Almighty, we just thank you, lead us and guide us by Yeshua's consciousness. We have revelation, we have context, and we have transformation. It is so, and so it is. Philippians 4 and 8 is what I've been talking to you about on Sundays, using it as a thematic text. As a thematic text. The text reads from Philippians 4 and 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. So I want you to type it in the comment section. Good things too. Good thoughts, excuse me. Good thoughts too. I'm sorry. Good thoughts too. The subject is good thoughts. I want you to type it in the comment section. Good thoughts too, because this is part 2. Good thoughts, part 2. And many times when I am discussing the heart and the mind, and you might hear my stomach growling because I haven't ate anything today, so overlook that. In this particular discussion, when I talk about the heart, I'm referring to cognitive thinking, intellectual and emotive emotions, feelings, that particular aspect of our existence. Again, you are my family, and this family is growing. Thank you again for joining Patreon. It's growing every week, and I am putting together a collection of things that I'm going to release in form of videos on different subjects, and it takes time to research it, so forth and so on. But be patient with us there. More information is coming forward. It's not a disclaimer, but I always like to remind people that my approach to different subjects is always psycho-spiritual, always psycho-spiritual, because you are a spirit, I believe, of a God class, but you are a soul. And within the realm of the soul is believed to be your mind, will, and emotions. Even First Thessalonians 5:23 talks about a trichotomous, triunitarian type being that we are, three substances in one. They're not separate, they work as a unit, but yet three distinct substances. Really, spiritual, the spirit and the soul are immaterial portions of your being, but yet there appears to be maybe a material aspect to the soul in terms of its connection to the brain. And maybe one of these days I'll break down what we call the spiritual mind, which is your real mind, which I believe controls the brain, which also is a mind. But also within the human body, some of you already know that we've got three brains in the human body. For example, there is the brain in your cranium. There is what they call a heart brain, and there's what they call a gut brain, your enteric, I believe it's enteric nervous system. It's in your gut. Do you realize, just as a point of information, that the heart brain does communicate with the main brain, but it in itself is believed to possess intellectual capabilities, of course, emotive or emotions, as within that brain, it generates this kind of contribution to consciousness. And they have done, and I've read this, they've done heart transplants. Now, listen to this. They have done heart transplants, and that's where they take the heart of a person who dies and puts it in the body, of a person who needs a heart. And that person had memories and feelings from the original owner of the heart, memories of the previous owner of the heart. That's powerful, isn't it? In its sense, it's almost like a transference of consciousness. It's not a full transference, but that shows you that what science has identified as a heart brain does exist. And they don't talk about these things much in school. They don't even talk about your gut brain much as well in school. But the three should be in alignment. Well, actually, the four. Your spiritual mind should control the natural physical apparatus, and within the body itself, those three should be in alignment. But I always want people to understand, and sometimes I don't listen to many preachers anymore because, well, I'll tell you why one day. But sometimes I scrolling through social media and I hear preachers saying, yeah, these messages sound more like pop psychology today or psychology, so forth and so on. And what they're really saying is, they really want preachers to take the text, be manipulative with it, and beat folks up. And I just don't do that. But I want you to know, and always know, that you can't have a good life without good thoughts. Good thoughts equals a good life. Bad thoughts will equal a bad life. It doesn't make a difference how many sermons you listen to. If you don't have good thoughts about yourself and good thoughts about the creator that you say you serve and are in alignment with, that word is not going to help you. And I'm not quite sure why people in ministry, specifically teachers and pastors, don't know this yet. I'm not quite sure why. You're not going to have a good life without good thoughts. You're not going to have a powerful life without powerful thoughts, meaning there's some kind of consciousness or awareness of who and what you are. Do you realize that if you pour water in a bag that's got a hole in it, it's going to leak, right? Did you know that? Do you understand that if you have a container, and I've had these things happen before and didn't know that it had a leak and discovered later that it had a leak, that's why you have to keep filling it up. And what people don't understand is that in the psychological construct of the average person that we call a human being, it's trauma. There are identity issues. There's depression. There is insecurity. There are all these things that represent pinholes or holes of sorts. And so what they do is they have an emotional experience, and I don't mind having an emotional experience, but I'm a firm believer that your spiritual experience is also an intellectual one. And then, of course, that intellectual experience stimulates, in my opinion, an emotional one. In other words, when something hits my heart, hits my mind, and I extract the truth from that word that was spoken, and then begin to see myself applying that truth, living that truth, and becoming that truth, that's something to celebrate. I mean, I honestly believe that an almighty God can touch and move us, but there are too many people moving because it's tradition to move. They're moving because their definition of a good service or their definition of a good time with God is I've got to be running up and down aisles. I'm not against that. Or I got to be speaking in tongues for hours. I've done that. But when it's over, have you changed? Have you shifted? Is your awareness any greater? Is your sense of self any greater? Is your sense of your own divinity any greater? Is your sense of understanding of how to walk with God and how to walk in authority every day, is it any greater? Or do you still feel like crap? Do you still feel unworthy? Do you still feel like you're a mess? Do you still feel like you don't get everything right? Are you still plagued by your own inner judgment or the judgment of others? I want people to understand me real clearly. Then when you operate with a sin consciousness, it is a judgment consciousness, and it's going to always limit you. I know folks, especially preachers, cringe when people say stuff like this, but it's the truth. Because it is a direct assault on your ability to have confidence. And it also interferes with your conceptualization or your conception of the Almighty God. Because if your conception is that he's always looking to punish me, or he's looking for me to walk a fine line, and when I do not walk the fine line, he's going to destroy me. He's going to create chaos. He's going to unleash evil on me. If these are your thoughts, you're already struggling. Because sometimes you feel worthy and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel up, sometimes you feel down. And when you feel down, you find a way to attribute it to your lack of performance, or you find a way to basically decide that this is happening to me because of my lack of performance. It's just the truth. So I'm always talking to people about the mind because I understand that if you don't control your thoughts, family, you can't process scripture. You can't effectively apply scripture. That's the bottom line. You can't effectively live the life that you should live. You'll always live like somebody's got a gun to the back of your head, or you'll always live like you feel restricted. You'll always live like there's a form of bondage. This is not in my notes, but can I elaborate on this a couple more minutes? I'm going to elaborate on this a couple more minutes. Uh, One of my friends reached out to me after hearing uh, the voice of God speak to them. And she said the Lord spoke to her and said that, thank you, that uh, her paradigm needed to change. She needed to shift her paradigm. Can you still hear me? I don't know why these earbuds are doing this kind of stuff. She said her paradigm, the Lord spoke to her and said her paradigm needed to change. Well, the paradigm basically is your mentality, the way that you think, uh, your core understanding and your core beliefs. It's all of us have it. And so I didn't go into detail because I kind of wanted the person to discover some things on their own. But since it was brought to me a couple of days ago, she called for advice. I'm sharing with you. We all live in a paradigm, and some people live in a paradigm of bondage. Type the word bondage. They live in a paradigm of bondage, and their concept of God is punitive. 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 So they're in bondage to a punitive conceptualization of God. And that punitive conceptualization they have of God, meaning the God who wants to punish and send folk to hell and all this kind of stuff, that paradigm keeps them hell scared. That paradigm keeps them in some sense of fear. That paradigm limits them because that is the predominant way that they see their creator. And some people believe, according to their understanding of scriptural text, that this is the real God. And because they think it is the real God, then they conduct themselves accordingly to that. And they're never really free. They're never really free. Can I help you out with something? Can I say something else? It's not in my notes. I'm just flowing from the heart right now. I'm going to get into my diagram. I have a diagram I forgot to put up last week, so forth and so on. There are so many extremes. Do you know that folks are dragging the Bible into their bedrooms? The Bible don't belong in your bedroom. The Bible don't belong in your bed. I'm telling you how pervasive and at times invasive this infectious, flawed thinking is. It's a form of bondage. So we got people, okay, they get married, which they believe is God's will, but then they're sexually suppressed. You're married, but you're sexually suppressed. What? Like Macaulay Culkin. I just scrolled past a video the other day. We got all grown folk on here. And the woman thought she was really speaking powerfully, talking about oral sex and how it was forbidden. And I know people around me who talked about, listen, if there's anything in the Bible, when you go to the Song of Solomon, it really kind of endorses it. But the bottom line is, when you have this paradigm, this thinking, this perception about God or about beliefs or about your expectations, and it's flawed, then your life is going to be impacted. And it doesn't make a difference how many scriptures you know, how many scriptures you quote, how many tongues you talk in, because your thoughts are not good thoughts. They're imbalanced, or they're some kind of way uh, infecting you in a negative way. So good thoughts, family, are very relevant to your life and to your existence. And I know a lot of people, they just want to skirt through life and think that they can be dismissive of the responsibility of uh, regulating their heart and their mind. But the truth be told, as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. So Paul is trying to, in a sense, fertilize the mind. And he's trying to help people to understand, as I shared with you in the analogy on last week, that the mind is like a garden, or the mind is like a field. And if you do not attend to that garden and attend to that field, then all kinds of stuff is going to grow there. And as all that stuff is growing in your field, and Yeshua even discussed a parable of this in one of the Gospels, then other stuff is going to choke out the word. Other stuff is going to choke out inspiration. Other stuff is going to choke out revelation. It's just the truth. And I am one who's going to continue to talk to you about your thoughts. Let me pause here for station identification. A lot of folk don't even know that your spiritual experiences happen in your brain. They don't just happen in your spirit. They're the physical interpretations of what is happening to us in the spirit is in the front portions of your brain. Most folk don't know that. Can I share something else with y'all? Can I share something else with y'all? What I'm about to say might be a little bit controversial, but can I share something else? Say yes or no. I need to know I got your permission before I move forward with it to say it, because it's not in my notes. It's not in my notes. Something else I want to share with you right quick. Tell me yes or no. Tell me yes or no. Chris has said yes. Okay, so somebody called a couple of days ago. Now, this might be controversial. If you go back and tell your pastors I talked about this, they're going to probably say I'm of the devil, which is really not true. Somebody called the other day and asked me a question about the pineal gland. It's so sad that it's not taught about in the church. It's so sad that people don't have an education of what the pineal gland is. It's a real gland in your body. It's a real gland in your body that contains tetrahedron crystals in it. It's a real gland in your body that when those crystals vibrate at a certain frequency is a gateway to the spiritual dimension. Wow. Never heard that in church before. I'm going to put some videos up on Patreon about it. But the reason I'm saying things like this is because, again, your perception of self and your perception of God and your perception of spirituality exist in your thoughts. So you will only go as far as your thoughts go. Yes, the pineal gland is called the third eye, and church folk are scared of it. They go quickly to the scriptures, start quoting Old Testament stuff about divination, so forth and so on. And there's not one scripture that really addresses it. There's a few that even think Jesus mentioned the third eye. I don't want to get into it because some of y'all ain't ready. But I'm just saying, you got to be careful of the psychological and mental paradigm that you live in. It is what's responsible for your reality. And again, it don't come from no heaven. It don't come from God. It comes from you, the offspring of the Almighty, a divine spiritual species yourself. So whatever it is you're thinking most of the time is the reality that you're producing. And yes, you get to drag your conceptualization of your God in it and say he did this, he did that, he did the other, he put me here, he put me there. But once again, that's you creating that narrative. And that's why it's playing out the way it's playing out. Am I making any sense? Lord have mercy. Okay, let me get a little bit deeper into this. So the text, we covered a couple of things, and remember, I started with the thinking aspect of the text because he tells us at the end, after he lists all of these things we should be discussing, he says, "Think on these things," or he says, "Whatsoever things of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things." So again, what he's talking about here is thinking. He's talking about the function of the mind, thinking. So the word think, lak idzamahi, lak idzamahi, lak idzamahi in Greek is the Greek word for that. It means to estimate, conclude, reason, to reckon, to count, to compute, to calculate, to count over. So basically, this thinking is summarizing the intellectual processes of mankind. We are to think on the things that he enumerated in his list. This is what you should be thinking on, or thinking about, or shaping and cultivating your mind to focus on. Am I making any sense? These are the things he's saying as a prescription. He's giving a mental prescription. That's it, a mental prescription. I want you to type it in the comments section. Mental RX. It's going to come up here quickly. Mental RX. And you know, RX in many circles stands for prescription. This is a mental prescription, family. It's a mental prescription. Yes, everybody needs a mental prescription. And whether you realize it or not, you are either writing prescriptions mentally every day, or you're allowing people to write mental prescriptions for you daily. Wow. And from those mental prescriptions, it is determining how you function. And depending on what culture you came from, depending on what your conceptualization, predominant conceptualization was about certain things in the people who raised you, and then as you had your own experiences as you got grown, that determines the mental prescriptions, watch this, that you write for yourself and that you will receive for somebody else, from someone else. Wow. Again, all of these things help shape your mindset. All of these things help shape your paradigm. And as I have said to you all, family, before, Christianity is not practiced or lived the same way everywhere in the world. Do you know that, for example, Western Christians struggle with meditating? I've run across videos online where people have done whole segments on how meditating is demonic. Clearing your mind is demonic. It's just crazy. But they don't understand that Eastern Christians, Christians from the Eastern side of the world, meditate. They also don't understand that Christians from the Eastern side of the world are more inclusive of accepting the practices of other religions. They don't know that. And they don't understand why there is an East and why there is a West in terms of how Christianity is practiced. There was a split over the interpretation of who Yeshua was hundreds of years ago. So now you got the Eastern Orthodox Church, and you've got the Church of the East. Now you got the Church of the West. The Church of the West thinks it's superior to the Church of the East. But I've discovered the Church of the East doesn't have areas of superiority. The point I'm making to you again is whatever you were taught to believe, that's what you believe in until you open yourself up to learn better. You will operate in that box, and you will interpret everything from within that box. I'm saying some powerful stuff. I feel it in my own shana now. So Paul is giving a prescription for thinking. Because no matter how much good news you hear, if you process it negatively, if you attach a negative polarity to what you hear, then you are downloading into your subconscious negatively, and it will reflect in your world negatively, and it's good news. For example, when he's giving this mental prescription and he's telling us to think on these things, if your thoughts are not good, somebody can do something good for you and you can do put a negative spin on it. In other words, somebody just gave you some money. Say your man just gave you some money and he's a good man. If in the economy of your mind, and remember I've talked about the economy of the mind before, it is plagued with very bitter negative experiences with men that causes you to be distrusting, which I understand how you arrived there. If you meet a good man and he starts doing good things for you, if you're not careful, the poor mental diet, and Neville Goddard talks about mental diets, and that is basically about what you consume mentally determines your reality and determines your identity. But if your mental diet is still consistent of past thoughts of abuse and misuse, then the new man shows up. He loves you like you've never been loved before. He gives to you unconditionally, no strings attached. He ain't trying to get no booty, no sex, none of that. Come on now. But because your experience is that when a man does something nice for you, that past man, he must want something from you. Then what happens is what was sent out with good intention from the man is processed and transduced into something negative in your heart and then downloaded to the deeper part of you. Come on here, somebody. And what ends up happening is that you manifest these experiences in your world. So the first thing that's going to start happening is that you're going to send signals to him that he's not genuine. Secondly, he's going to receive those signals that you don't think he's genuine and you don't think he's trustworthy. Third, you're going to repel him. I want people to understand that everybody is transmitting and receiving. Your thoughts are not really self-contained. Now, there are some of us that know how to control that, but for the most part, everybody's transmitting and everybody's receiving. But what I want you to understand is that if your thoughts are not good, healthy thoughts, you will misinterpret the actions of people. You will misinterpret the actions of other people. Am I making any sense? Talk back to me. I'm not on Facebook, so I can't see if I'm getting any likes and hearts. I hope I'm getting plenty because it helps the algorithm. So Paul is talking to us about thoughts. The kind of thoughts that you possess, family, is the kind of reality you live. I really, really need y'all to hear me. The kind of thoughts that you possess shapes your core beliefs. And it defines how you see yourself, or it provides self-definition. It provides your definition of deity, that is who God is. It provides your definition of family. It provides your definition of love. It provides your definition of hate. It provides your definition of ambition. It provides your definition of success. It provides your definition of prosperity. It provides your definition of love. Your thoughts do this. I want you to really grasp this. So you've got to daily serve up or daily serve yourself the right prescription or take the right prescription of thoughts every day. And I'm going to say this again because it won't make a difference how much you run up and down that aisle and how much your body tingles when you hit the floor because you shouted and spoke in tongues. If your thinking's not good, it won't last. The effect will wear off. And days and weeks later, you'll be trying to crawl under a bed or in a hole again because your thoughts are not good. Okay. So he tells us to, in this particular text, whatsoever things are true. I think we got into true and honest. So true as it relates to all kinds of truth. There's the truth of the reality of the Almighty. There's the truth of the reality of your conceptualization of God. There's truth as it relates to who and what you really are. Most of the world has an identity crisis. When I say the world, I'm not talking about the planet, the physical aspects of the planet. I'm not even talking about the three-dimensional realm. I'm talking about people who are really spirits who possess a soul and live in a body, the species of mankind. Most of them have an identity crisis. They think they're physical beings, but they don't know they're spirits. They're God species spirits having a human experience. So number one, the truth of who and what you are needs to be known. The truth of who and what your creator really is and the function and role of the creator needs to be known. Truth that is relevant to helping you navigate in this world is what you should be pondering on. Now, here's the problem with this. People don't always know what truth is. Wow. I'm going to say it again. People don't always know what truth is. That's the problem. That's why we got so many doggone religions. And that's why we got so many splinter groups from these religions. And that's why we got thousands and thousands and thousands of sects of religious groups. And many of them within these sects still don't know the truth, or they have fragments of truth and think it's the whole truth. Hear me. It is true that if I have a slice of the pie, that I have the ingredients that every slice in the pie would have. It's kind of like a holographic situation. But at the same time, in terms of quantification, in terms of definition of wholeness, good, you got a slice of the pie. But the fulfillment comes in being able to devour the whole pie. So we got pieces with a slice. There's 10 slices in this pie. They got one piece and they want to go out and proclaim, I got all the pie. You don't have the whole pie. This is what I see today. And so people entrench themselves in these beliefs and become dogmatic about them. So that's a challenge. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest. That's talking about being honorable and reputable. All right. We're supposed to think on honesty. Think on honesty. Am I making any sense? You want to be a person of integrity. You want to be a person that has a good conscience. Anything that abuses somebody else shouldn't be something you want to participate in. And yes, abuse sometimes is a matter of definition, but there are some things we know is blatant abuse. We know what physical abuse is. We know what verbal abuse is. We know what spousal abuse is. Watch this. We know what the abuse of power really is. Come on, don't act like you don't know it when you see it. Paul said, think on things that are honest. He goes on to say things that are just. Hear me. Righteous. Just also means, in my opinion, observing divine laws. To be just is to observe divine laws. Now, I want to say this to you, and a lot of folks won't agree, but I have evolved to this point to know that religion is not spirituality. I want you to type it in the comment section. Religion is not spirituality. Type that in the comment section. Religion is not spirituality. Religion is not spirituality. Type that in the comment section for me. People confuse the two because it's not. And yes, religion was originally designed to point and connect or bring an awareness to people of the Almighty, of the divine. But what happened is that arrogance crept in. And they thought that their experiences was the whole pie, not realizing it was just a slice. And that from their experiences, they think that they could write books on the totality of God, on the totality of the Almighty. You can't. Think about the conceptualization and concept of an Almighty God. Even the biblical scripture says that you can't define, or it's not enumerated everything that Yeshua accomplished when he was here. You can't put a God in one text, not an omnipotent one. He can't fit an omnipotent, I say he, excuse me, because I don't believe that there is any gender ascribed to the Almighty. But can you honestly put an all-powerful being in one jar? Help me with this, family. Y'all, I'm talking about the concept now of an almighty being. I know I'm treading in some water today. Let me go back to my original thought so y'all still like me. But so spiritual laws run this universe. I want you to type it in the comment section. Spiritual laws run this universe. Type it in the comment section. Spiritual laws run this universe. Type that in the comment section for me. Spiritual laws run this universe. Okay. Type that in the comment section for me. I'm on just. So hear me. To be just in traditional theological terms, it's talking about being righteous or being justified in the sight of the Almighty. I personally believe that to be just is also to be in alignment with spiritual laws and spiritual principles. See, here's the key that people miss. I've read other books, and some of the same spiritual principles that I read in the book that I was raised on, which is the Bible, exist in some of these other books. And the scope in terms of their perception of what's God is not the same, but their spiritual principles, there are spiritual principles that do line up in certain areas. I'm making this example for a reason. And the reason why there are folk who never ever enter the church who are producing results similar to people who go to a church, or people who go to a mosque, or people who sit in a Buddhist temple, works for some of these people who've never had these experiences. You want to know why it works? It works because they have tapped into a spiritual law. Wow. So I ask you the question, If I go to China and jump off the Great Wall, will gravity still work there? If I go to the Himalayan mountains and jump off those mountains, will gravity still work there? If I go to Pikes Peak in Colorado and jump off Pikes Peak, or the largest suspended bridge, I believe, in the world that's in Colorado, would gravity still work there? Talk back to me. You see, a law is a law, just like a law is a law on this particular planet. And yes, gravity may be different on other planets, but gravity still exists on other planets. It is a law. And yes, it might work a little differently, but it still works. Spiritual principles are the same way. Let me move on. Whatsoever things are pure, that's defined as exciting reverence, venerable, sacred, chaste, and modest. Yes, there is a purity of heart and soul that we should desire. Now, I know that we want to describe or define purity and absoluteness, and that's kind of difficult. It's kind of like trying to, and once again, people try and define these things based on their past experiences in terms of what's pure. Now, for example, I'm talking to a group of people. Some of you like pancakes and some of you don't. Do you know it would be very probably challenging to get everybody who's watching me now to agree on what makes a good pancake? I mean, what makes a pancake to taste good? I'm talking about the folk who like pancakes. Does it have to be fluffy? Does it have to have crispy edges? Does it have to be thin or does it have to be thick? You hear what I'm saying? Uh, does it require butter? Does it require syrup? Come on now. Some of y'all like fruit on your pancakes. I don't like fruit on mine. You see what I'm saying? So trying to define at times what exactly pure is, even by traditional Christians, is difficult to kind of accurately describe what pure really is. And so what people do is, for their own experiences, they just decide they'll make a self-definition of what they believe is the revelation they're receiving on purity is, and that's what they'll say. But I say to you, seek God about what's pure for you. What's pure in your thoughts? What's pure in your ways? What's pure in your desires? What's sacred? What's chaste? What does modesty mean to you? I'm finding out that the definition of modesty is very different today. Would y'all agree with me? We just family, so I'm talking. Y'all know I just likes to keep it real. Scrolling through Facebook for a few minutes a couple of days ago, and I'm not on there a lot, but sometimes I find myself just on there when I'm checking my post or whatever. So let me just look around. I'm on here looking around, and something came up in my stories. Uh, and it was a beautiful white female. These clips are very short. Basically, in some tight workout materials, pants or whatever she had on. And she got her legs open, and I could see the imprint of her vagina. And she spreads her legs in such a way that she wants people to see that they can see her vagina. Now, I got to be honest. To me, that's not purity. If the next woman I had, she could be fine and built and all that, but I don't want nobody to see that but me. Am I making any sense? So you've got to know, according to what you believe God has defined for you, is a way that you should think pure and act pure. My God, I could elaborate on this. What is purity to you? And are you thinking that? Because if you want to be have a pure lifestyle. Pure could mean genuine as well. It could mean just being real with you and just being real with yourself. Are you operating from the inner purity of who and what you really are and who and what you really represent? Purity is also like a standard for individuals. Is this impacting your identity if you move over or compromise? Wow, I feel that. The next thing he talks about is lovely. That's acceptable, pleasing, a temper of mind that one can love it, or such as be agreeable to others. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Lovely. I want you to type it in the comment section. Love. Love. Type it in the comment section. Love. Type that in the comment section for me. Love. Type that in the comment section for me. Love. Type that real quickly. Love. Ooh wee. Isn't this a subject? This is quite a subject here. It's quite a controversial subject. All right. Um, it is, in my opinion, it is not our humanity. It is not the love that comes from the brain that is the superior love. I believe it's the love that comes from our spirit essence, our spirit beings. That is the purest or highest form of love. Now, make my disclaimer. Love don't make you a fool. Love should not make you a fool. Or let me paraphrase that. Let me paraphrase that. I don't have to be a fool because I'm in love. Type that in the comment section. Type that. I don't have to be a fool because I'm in love. I don't have to be a fool because I'm in love. Ooh-wee. I needed to make that disclaimer or put that preface up there right quick. So when I talk about love and talk about unconditional love, for people who are operating or thinking love, so Paul is talking about lovely. Okay, lovely, of course, is a state of mind or a state of consciousness where you think love, where you embody love, where you allow your divine self to contribute love, to emanate love to your consciousness and through your conscious mind. So when I am thinking love, love is connected to patience, and love is connected to long suffering. And then sometimes, because unconditional love is so powerful, it makes people foolish. Hear me. It makes people take abuse they shouldn't take. It causes people to go down rabbit holes and pathways they should never go down. Sometimes loving somebody can mean potentially destroying yourself. Wow, 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 wow. So I needed to make that disclaimer because, wow, somebody needs to hear this. You got to learn how to love unconditionally, but not allow yourself to be destroyed by the person or the thing that you love. Mm-mm. Wow, wow, wow. So when I'm thinking love, hear me, when I'm thinking lovely, people can do me wrong. I will address the wrong that they did, but they will not be able to force me to hate them because I'm thinking love or I'm thinking the thing that is lovely. Wow, wow, wow. I hope I'm making some sense to somebody. And I impress the love message because I know what it means to be in love or love and it be rejected. And I understand the challenges of love because love makes you vulnerable. Love makes you look at times like you're weak. And I'm going to say this to you. When it's real love, you're not really weak. You're just strong in your position of love. That love makes you sometimes more loyal to people than what they deserve. It makes you more caring at times for people than what they deserve. It makes you more understanding at times toward those people than what they deserve and what they could receive from anybody else. And folk on the outside looking in are saying, well, she's weak or he's weak or there's something, they're just being used, blah, blah, blah. And yes, sometimes it is true. They are being used. And I say to the person who loves like that, learn to know when how to put lines up in the expression of that love, and learn how to take measures in expressing that love to keep you from falling down the abyss, to keep you from falling into the abyss with that person, place, or thing that you love. Hear me. Don't stop loving. Don't stop thinking love. Don't stop being love, because the first thing we want to do when we love somebody and they're hurt and injured us is say, I'm not giving that love to nobody else. I'll never love like this again. When the truth be told, real love in its purest form is divine. It is of God. It is godly. It is spiritual. It is supernatural. Ooh, I feel that. And what you should be pondering and what you should be strategically planning is that the next time I unleash this love, it will be to the right person, to the person that I bring that has all the qualities that are necessary to complement me. Lord have mercy. Come on now, it's quiet. Y'all quiet. I can't see if I'm getting any likes and hearts. And nobody talking back to me in the comment section. When I'm thinking love, I'm thinking empathy. When I'm thinking love, I'm turning on through love an analytical part of myself and putting myself in their shoes. When I'm thinking love, I'm feeling what they're feeling, whether I agree with it or not. When I'm thinking love and embodying love and acting as love, I can say like Yeshua, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. My job in the moment is to just be love. My job in the moment, watch this, is for them to know unconditional love exists. I want you to understand that people talk about the love of God and the love of the Almighty every day. It's mentioned in scripture. But do you know that that divine love is going to come through people and from people? Do you know that? Some of y'all think that, a being is just going to appear and start, shining and say, oh, this is love from God. No, family. That love is going to come from within you and me and somebody else. Hear me. So, yes, you give that unconditional love. And then there are times where situations will shift and you have to shift. It doesn't mean you have to fall in to madness with people. Yes, they might be in some messy situations, but you don't get messy. And yes, you may walk with them through messy situations, but you don't allow them to pull you into messiness. You keep loving and letting your light shine and letting love ooze from you. Come on now, without it changing your constitution, without it altering your standards. Come on now, without it altering who and what you really are. Wow. I have loved people through some hideous, damnable stuff. And it is hard sometimes, not even in a romantic sense, but in a sense of being a friend or somebody who cares. Sometimes it's difficult and you just feel like you can be sucked in and drawn in. It's tempting, but you're not helping that person if you allow yourself to be drawn in to become what they are or to participate in what they're doing. Ooh, this is powerful. So if I'm thinking love, then I'm going to embody love, then I'm going to propagate love, I'm going to emit love. But at the same time, I have to understand that love, hear me, family, doesn't mean I lose my intellect. It doesn't mean that I lose my standards. It doesn't mean that I lose my dignity. It doesn't mean that I lose myself. Wow, 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 wow. I feel that one, family. Let me go on and finish. Two more. So we want to think love. We want to think love. We want to think love. Yes, yes, some of y'all love some crazy folks, some mad folk, but listen, you got to learn how when it's time to love them from a distance. You got to learn how when it's time to take that same unconditional love and sign a piece of paper and say it's over. Sometimes that's required. Sometimes that you can love you can love a person and block them. You can love a person and take their name out your phone. You can love a person and change their number, because when it gets to the point where you've done what you know you can do, and what they're doing to you is starting to cause you to come out of love or alter who and what you really are at the core of your being, then separation is necessary. Hear me real clearly, because when you, and especially when that unconditional love is channeled through a romantic funnel, your objectivity is gone. And when your objectivity is gone, then you're open to lowering your value and your price when your objectivity is gone. And it is difficult to remain, to excuse me, contain or remain objective or be objective, because love really is very subjective. So that trying to have the correct balance between subjectivity and objectivity at times is difficult when it's a child, when it's you loving a parent, when it's you loving a lover or loving a husband or a wife. I get that. But I'm saying to you, keep thinking as a loved being, as a person who loves, and know how to take measures that are necessary so that you won't give up who you really are. I'm going to give you the last example, and I'm going to move on to good report. Let me see if I got time. No, I'm going to stop here. I don't have time to get into good report. So we're going to stop at lovely. If you're the kind of person that you smile all the time because there's something in you that just makes you smile, you just always keep a smile on your face. You are a happy, bright person, and you just smile. But all of a sudden, you stop smiling. You're terse and you're tense and you're mean looking all the time. When that happens, that means you're no longer you. That real you. And I'm not talking about people who fake smile. No, no, no. I'm talking about people who genuinely, they're happy, they're bubbly. And then all of a sudden we start seeing you and your face is tore up and broke up and messed up, and you just aloof. You don't speak to people, or when you do, it's your head is down and you're not bubbly anymore. Do you know what that means? That means what you used to think about yourself and how you related to this world has shifted and changed. You're no longer showing up in the world now as a better version of yourself. Wow. That means that the best parts of you now, family, have been hidden. The best parts of you now have been covered up. The best parts of you now you have put in a closet somewhere, all because usually of what somebody else did or said. Hear me. Are you really pleasing God if you're not the best version of you? If you by nature happy, if you're by nature the people who has a smile that changes a person's day for the better when they see you. But all of a sudden that's gone from you because you made an adjustment, because somebody hurt you, somebody injured you, or you loved somebody, or you trusted somebody, but they got to you in a way that changed your thinking about yourself and your thinking about life to the point that the smile is erased. Wow. Family, I want you to hear me real clearly. That's not you showing up as the best version of you. And what's going to end up happening is that you're going to start attracting and bringing people into your life that now are in alignment with that different you. So I'm asking you the question, was it really worth it? If you could wake up happy and feeling free and carefree, no matter what was going on in your life, or maybe you were anchored by your faith or anchored by something that always kept a smile on your face and always enabled you to treat people right. And, your smile was an inspiration. Your attitude encouraged people, but all of a sudden you let somebody or something get to you. Now, hear me real clearly. He'll be real clear that sometimes events in life can happen where you're not smiling like you used to. If your mama died, if I'm not talking about that, your daddy died, your child died. I'm not talking about that. And you have a temporary lapse in that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you allowing coworkers, you allowing other family members, you allowing a lover, you allowing a spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a coworker, or whoever to get to you to the point where you decide, I'm no longer going to think this positive. I'm no longer going to speak positive. What? Now, what you've done is you have made alterations to yourself to try and fight back. You have made alterations to yourself as an answer. You've made alterations to your inner self as a way of trying to protect yourself, but you don't understand you just lost a part of yourself. But that part of you helped you to be unique, and that part of you helped you to navigate through life. It was a superpower. Come on, I want you to type this in the comment section. I just said it was a superpower. I want you to type it in the comment section. I'm not giving up my superpowers for nobody. Type that. I'm not giving up my superpowers for nobody. Type that in the comment section. I'm not giving up my superpowers for nobody. Type that in the comment section. I'm not giving up my superpowers for nobody. I'm not doing it. And you shouldn't do it. Love is a superpower. Positivity is a superpower. Your smile is a superpower. Your ability to encourage is a superpower. Come on now, the way you show up in the world and inspire people, lift people up, connect them to God and other positive things you do, help people navigate and work through situations, counsel, advise. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Or you're a genius, you're intellectual, you're brilliant. Huh? That's one of your superpowers. Don't give it up. To some of you all, let me go here. I know it's a cosmetic thing because beauty is inner first and then it's expressed outwardly. But some of your superpower is your beauty. Some of your superpower is your attitude. Well, why would you let anybody change that? Why would you allow anybody to alter that? We need to bring people into our space that enhance it, that encourage it, that feed it, not try and douse it, not try and take a water hose and spray it and extinguish it. Don't give up your superpowers. Yeah, some of y'all talk too much, but your superpower sometimes is being able to communicate. If you let people watch this, some of your superpower is in the wisdom and knowledge of your opinion. I'm open to all opinions, even if they're crazy opinions. At some point in time, I want a crazy opinion to be changed. But hear what I'm saying. To be able to express truth is a superpower. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Don't give up your superpowers. So I'm stopping here today with Lovely, and I'll pick up with the last three next Sunday. I'm going to pray for you real quickly, but good thoughts. I want you to manage your mind this week with good thoughts. So hear me. This is my assignment for you this week, family. This is my assignment for you this week. I'm going to give you a brief assignment, and I know that you're going to carry it out wonderfully on this week. This assignment that I'm going to give you, I know you're going to carry it out wonderfully this week. And in this assignment, I want you to pay closer attention to the thoughts that you're thinking. Pay closer attention. If Paul is telling us to think on these things, then that means we're going to have to make an effort, a concerted effort, to think in a certain way. And remember, when we talk to you about thinking, we're not just talking about thoughts, we're talking about images. And we're not just talking about images, we're talking about emotions that you feel that are a result of these thoughts that are going through your head and that you are experiencing. I want you to join me this week. Watch this. Since I spoke what I just spoke, if there was a thought that came to your head of fear, or a thought that came to your head of pride, I don't need to do this, or a thought that came to your mind, that said you can't do this, I want you to own that thought. I want you to take that thought like you could take it in your hand. I want you to observe it and say, well, that's an option. I could fear. I could have pride. Yeah. I could be resistant. But I choose not to accept you, because I choose to accept that this is an area where I need to install more positive thoughts that will contribute to me growing, expanding, becoming better, becoming more godlike, connecting more to the Almighty, learning more of the power that I possess in that which I am. So guess what? Guess what? The next time, watch this, I fear surviving, I'm going to replace it with I can do all things. The next time, hear me, a thought comes to my mind that says I'm not going to make it or it's not going to work out, I remind myself that all things work together for the good. Or I declare and decree that things always work out for my good. I'm going to replace it with that. And then I'm going to see an image of that situation working out in my favor. Oh my God, I sense this so strong. Good thoughts about love, good thoughts about relationships, good thoughts about your body image, good thoughts about your family, good thoughts about your career, good thoughts about your finances, good thoughts about whatever it is you might be facing in your personal life. Replace it. Think on these things. I gave you a brief list thus far. What is true? What is just? What is lovely? I'm going to think on these kinds of things. And I'm going to make an extra effort, hear me, not to allow anything to drag me off this course, drag me off this pathway where I normally end up sad, or where I normally end up in a corner of a room depressed, or where I normally end up having to pop some pills, or where I normally end up in depression or despair. I won't allow these thoughts and these images to take me there. Woohoo, my. I won't allow any negative thoughts and images to alter my core state of being, my core being, the being of love, the being of being a giver, the being that is successful. I won't allow anybody to change that. So I am going to deal directly with these thoughts so I can think good thoughts, because good thoughts produces good outcomes. Good thoughts contributes to a good reality. Good thoughts contributes to a good me. Almighty, I thank you for this moment and this time that I have with all these wonderful people. Thank you for ears to hear and hearts to receive. We are changing from the inside out. I speak, we are evolving, transforming, and ascending, and the best versions of ourselves are emerging, becoming, even now as I speak. And I thank you that good thoughts are bubbling and overflowing like waterfalls, like springs, overflowing, effervescent in us today. Thank you, Yeshua. In your name, your way, your consciousness, it is so. And so it is. Ooh, I love you so dearly. Use those giving opportunities if you desire at the bottom of the screen. Some of your tithe, of others so offerings. I appreciate that, your seeds you give. And I just want to quickly remind you, I will be doing something rare today, speaking in a church this afternoon. I'll put the link up on social media after it starts, speaking at my brother's pastoral anniversary in Sikeston, Missouri today, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. Love you so dearly. Appreciate your support. And I thank you for those who are going to give as well. You can use 2 Cash App mantras as well as Zelle and Chime. Were you blessed today? Were you blessed today? Talk back to me. Were you blessed today? I appreciate you so. Thank you, Pastor Turk. I'm going to have a blessed day. Yes, sir. I'll pass that message on to him as well. I'll pass that message on to him as well. Yes, yes. How y'all feeling? Before I let you go, how you feeling? How you feeling? Let's see here. Deborah says, amen, truly blessed. Vivian says, blessed. Okay, Lisa, good to see you. She says, blessed with the message. Awesome, wonderful. Linda Nelson says, good word. Thank you so much. Deborah Grady says, great awesomeness. You all are great dynamic spirits, great dynamic people. And you are already empowered to prosper. It's in you. It's in you. And it is you. Let it go forth. Let it be revealed. Let that greatness come forth. I speak that the greatness that these wonderful people are is about to be displayed. We'll say it again. The greatness these great people are is about to be displayed for others around them to partake of, experience, and enjoy. I sense it that fate is changing for many of you. I sense that circumstances, as we say, are turning around. And when I say turning around, I mean shifting in your favor. Situations and circumstances are shifting in your favor. I continue to speak to Pamela Moore, watching on YouTube, that things have already turned around for you, honey. Things have already turned around for you. I see that. I sense that, Pamela. Things have already turned around for you. It's in your belly. It's in your spirit. It's in your inner man. The witness is there that things have already turned around for you. And I hear the Spirit saying to tell you, Pamela, you are about to see your best days. You are about to see your best days. I'm going to say it one more time. You are about to see your best days. It doesn't mean there won't be challenges, but you're about to see your best days. You're about to go above. You're about to go through. But more importantly, you're about to prosper. You are about to see, Pamela Moore, your best days. Hallelujah. Deborah says that her life has shifted and her finances as well. Awesomeness. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Before this calendar year is over, you're going to have numerous testimonies because some of you all are learning to accept and embrace who and what you have permission from God to be and to do. And I'm telling you, it's changed you indelibly. You are not the same. You cannot be the same. And everything that you've wanted and desired, hear me, from love to finances to family, is unfolding before you in this particular calendar year. It has begun, it has intensified, and it is being enhanced even while I speak. Glory to God. It is so. And so it is. Let me get off here because I'm feeling something now. Love you with the love of the Lord. And don't forget to give. And so I always appreciate your donations and your support. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing and nothing broken. Your day is great because you are great. Enjoy. Thank you.